True fans live for their team. For those true U of A fans, there is Hughes Federal Credit Union. Show your U of A spirit and put technology and convenience at your fingertips. Hughes Federal Credit Union. Smart choice.
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley here with Greg Hansen. Greg, Arizona Wildcats fall in overtime to Washington last Saturday. Sunday morning, you're on the, I'll guess, practice tees maybe? A little early?
No, I was on the pillow.
You're on the pillow, but you're talking to friends, you're running into people in the community, and they're all asking the exact same question, which is, why didn't Arizona go for two late in regulation? They scored a touchdown, had all the momentum going. RichRod opts to kick to tie the game, and they fall in overtime. Why do you think Rich Rodriguez did what he did?
I think it's because his first 3 times at West Virginia, facing the exact same situation, he went for the tie and won in overtime, all 3 times against top 20 teams. Okay. Rutgers, when they were good, Louisville, and now I forgot the third one. But it was 3. He won his first 3 like that. So that's got to be in his system, isn't it? Yeah,
well, I think so too. I think too that there's these things that are sort of hardwired into coaches, i.e. you play for the tie at home, you play for the win on the road. You try to keep the crowd involved in the game to use them to your advantage. He just may have looked down his sideline and seen all of these injured players and go, I don't know if I have a 3-yard play right now. But to me, it was really interesting. I think that he has second-guessed that call more than he lets on.
Oh, he would never say he second-guessed
that call, right. But gosh, I mean, I think even if they try and miss, there's some momentum you can carry going forward that you can't
Exactly.
carry now.
That's a point that I think hasn't been taken. Plus, last year he beat Utah in overtime.
Sure.
When Utah threw an interception, right?
Sure. Top 10 team.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's only blown up on him once ever. I mean, he lost to Stanford in overtime, but he didn't have a chance for a decision like that. But when his second year at Michigan, when everything fell apart on him, they were playing Michigan State, which was not then really good. But Michigan was. Michigan was 4-0 and ranked 22nd.
Sure.
They went for the tie with 2 seconds to go. They had scored to tie it with 2 seconds to get within 1 with 2 seconds to go. He kicked, and Tate Forcier threw an interception in overtime. They lost to Michigan State. Michigan State leapfrogged them forever until this year. Right. And RichRod's program at Michigan basically
fell apart.
Yeah.
One of the things that to me is really interesting about this, Greg, is you try to get inside a coach's head. We're in the second-guessing business, kind of for better and worse. I was watching Brandon Dawkins on the TV monitor Saturday night. Brandon Dawkins, to me, looked exhausted at the end of that game.
That's the point.
Is it possible that RichRod just didn't think that there was enough juice left to have them run one more play to get 3 more yards, possibly win the game?
I watched the replay on the Pac-12 network yesterday, and as soon as the touchdown was scored, the kicker ran on. Pollock ran on. Of course, he's probably a play ahead of everybody in the stands. I'm sure he is.
Oh, of course.
But I just think, in my opinion, Brandon Dawkins is a difference maker, especially running the ball. Roll him out on that triple option, take your chances, and as you said, if it failed, I still think people would have looked on him like, man, we tried to beat Washington. We gave him everything we had. Right. I think he would have been a hero if they'd even lost.
Yes, absolutely. People would say, look at the big brain on Rich Rodriguez going for it late in the game. I think that would have been okay.
Yeah, it's not Anu Solomon running it in.
It's not Anu Solomon running it in. It's funny, Greg, you've been around for a litany of football coaches that we won't go into for time. What is the biggest... what's the most daring coaching call you've ever seen?
Arizona played Cal in 1996, 4 overtimes.
Right.
That was before they had the rule you had to go for 2.
That was up at Cal. Correct.
So it's 56-55. Arizona has the ball. Line up to kick. They're going to send it to a 5th overtime. And the holder, Ryan Hessen, picked the ball up and ran and got stuffed. And Arizona lost 56-55. And Tomey, afterward, took all the blame. And then 2 days later, in the Monday media session, Ryan Hessen came out, third-string quarterback, and said, Coach Tomey took the blame. I did that play by myself. Tomey didn't call it. So that was an average season for Arizona. They went, I think, 6-5. But when that happened, that moment, when Arizona went for the win, it just grabbed you.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing would have happened Saturday against Washington.
Sure. Things don't get much easier for the Arizona Wildcats. Up next this week, a trip to the Rose Bowl against a pretty good UCLA team. I think as Washington showed us last week in the Pac-12, Greg, it is hard to win conference games, and it's even harder to win conference games when you're on the road.
When will Arizona be favored again?
Right? I know. And keep in mind, Mike Stoops went years without winning Pac-12 road games.
Yeah.
Winning on the road is hard, and Arizona's schedule does not do them any favors going forward.
Yeah, it's, the next month, the next 5 weeks for Arizona football, gee, you may have to cover your eyes.
It's going to be interesting to watch. I still think Arizona has an upset over a good team in them because we see one every year.
And not just by Arizona, but by every team.
By every team.
Yeah.
Exactly. Look at Colorado.
Yeah.
Well, we are going way too long. That'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.